Sometimes, right before everything shifts, life feels unusual. Not broken, not calm either, just different in a way you can't quite explain. It feels like you're walking in a familiar room, but the furniture has been moved an inch. People's words don't land the way they used to. The routines you've held for years start to feel empty. Even the dreams that once excited you seem to fade in color. And this can be confusing because the world tells you that progress always looks like hustle, always looks like pushing, always looks like more. But in truth, what you're feeling is not the absence of progress. It's the signal of transformation. In the quantum world, before a shift occurs, there's a state of uncertainty, a moment where multiple futures exist all at once. Physicists call it superposition. Everything is possible, but nothing has landed yet. And right now, that's you. You're holding more than one version of yourself at the same time. The you that's fatting, and the you that's arriving. This isn't failure. This isn't delay. This is alignment happening underneath the surface. The human mind struggles here. It craves proof. It craves results. It wants to see steps lining up neatly. But the field doesn't work like that. The quantum reorganizes itself before you see the evidence. So the emptiness you feel isn't absence. It's recalibration. The energy that once held you in your old patterns is being released. The web of old habits and old stories is loosening. And when those threads snap, it feels like something is missing. But what's really happening is space is being created for what you've been calling in. You might notice this as stillness. You might notice it as lack of motivation. You might even think something is wrong with you, but the opposite is true. Nothing is wrong. Something is right. Something is shifting at a level so deep your conscious mind hasn't caught up yet. Spiritually, some call this the void, a fertile emptiness, the place where new creation is seeded before it shows up in your world. It's the dark soil where seeds rest before they sprout. And while it feels uncomfortable, it's one of the clearest signals that your quantum jump is near. So what do you do in this space? You breathe. You stop panicking. You trust it. You lean into the quiet instead of trying to fix it. Because the silence isn't empty. It's full of information. It's full of possibility. Science supports this too. Your brain needs downtime to rewire. Neuroplasticity requires rest to integrate new patterns. Your nervous system is adjusting to a higher frequency. Your mind is recalibrating predictive models. Your body is learning a new baseline. This is why everything feels off. Because your system is literally rewiring for the reality you've been asking for. Imagine the moment before an orchestra begins. The lights dim. The audience falls silent. The musicians hold their instruments. That silence is not wasted. It's the necessary pause before everything begins. That's where you are now. The pause before the music of your new life starts. But here's the challenge. Most people misinterpret this pause. They think they've lost their spark. They think they're stuck. And so they scramble. They fill the quiet with distractions. They chase old habits. They cling to the familiar. And in doing so, they delay the very shift they've been asking for. The truth is, the stillness is progress. The emptiness is proof. You're not moving backward. You're standing right at the edge of a leap. And if you can trust this phase instead of resisting it, you'll notice subtle signs that your reality is rearranging. A random insight in a conversation. A sudden emotional release. A flash of clarity that comes out of nowhere. These are signals. These are whispers from the field telling you that your jump is closer than you think. So if life feels strange right now, if the old no longer fits and the new hasn't fully arrived, you're in the exact place where change becomes inevitable. This is your doorway. This is your threshold. And what you choose to do in this moment matters more than anything. Most people expect a breakthrough to begin with energy, with fireworks, with a dramatic sign from the universe. But more often, it begins with friction. Not chaos, subtle friction. The conversations that feel slightly out of tune. The work that used to inspire you now feels dull. Even your own thoughts begin to sound like they belong to a version of you that no longer exists. This is what happens when your inner world is moving faster than your outer world. Your soul is already operating at a higher frequency, but your circumstances are still anchored to the old one. The mismatch creates tension. It feels uncomfortable. It feels wrong. But it's not wrong. It's the signal that your current reality cannot hold where you're going. Think of it like trying to run new software on outdated hardware. The system lags, it glitches, it crashes, not because you failed, because an upgrade is required. That upgrade is your quantum jump. Spiritually, this is the moment people start questioning everything. Why does life feel like it's falling apart if I'm supposed to be leveling up? The truth is you're not falling apart. You're falling out of alignment with what you've outgrown. And here, where the mind tries to trap you, it hates uncertainty, so it tells you to fix what's breaking, to cling to what's leaving, to patch up what's dissolving. But fixing the old is a step backwards. The universe is not asking you to repair, it's asking you to release. In physics, when an electron jumps to a higher orbital, it must absorb the exact right amount of energy. No more, no less. And then, in an instant, it's no longer in the old state. There is no halfway. There is no in-between. Your life works the same way. When your frequency matches the new timeline, the shift is instant. You don't force it. You allow it. This is why constant effort, constant doing, slows the process. Because you're trying to bridge two incompatible realities with action instead of alignment. The field doesn't respond to strain. It responds to vibration. A single moment of resonance does more for your future than weeks of scattered effort. So if things are falling away in your life, stop asking how to get them back. Start asking what they're making room for. That question alone changes your energy. It shifts you from resistance to receptivity. And receptivity is the signal that calls in what you've been waiting for. It's like climbing too fast out of deep water. Divers know that if you rise too quickly, the body can't handle the pressure shift. So you ascend slowly. You let your system adjust. This stage of your life works the same way. It's a decompression chamber between who you were and who you're becoming. And that means patience is not weakness. Trust is not passivity. Presence is not delay. They are the active ingredients of transformation. So if your life feels half-erased right now, if you're standing in the rubble of what doesn't fit but can't yet see what's being built, you're not lost. You're on the launch pad. The discomfort you feel is the exact fuel that will propel you forward. Because your quantum jump is not waiting for the perfect time. It's waiting for the aligned you. And the moment you stop clinging to what's leaving, the field snaps into place around who you're becoming. Right before the leap, emotions intensify. One moment you feel unstoppable. The next, doubt creeps in. Hope and fear trade places like shifting winds. You wonder if you're imagining it all. But this isn't failure. It's the oscillation of timelines. You're standing between two realities. The old one you've lived, the new one you're stepping into, and your emotions flicker between them. When you feel excitement followed by fear, it's not inconsistency. It's a sign your system is adjusting. In neuroscience, the brain runs predictive models. It clings to what it knows, even when it no longer fits. So even as your higher self pulls you toward the new, your subconscious tries to anchor you to the old. The result is fluctuation. The result is turbulence. But turbulence doesn't mean the plane isn't flying. Turbulence means you're moving through layers of atmosphere. Your emotions are the same. They're currents of energy, not verdicts on your success. So don't label them as good or bad. Don't treat excitement as proof you're on track and fear as proof you're failing. Treat them all as signals. Signals that your energy is reorganizing. Signals that your frequency is adjusting. This is emotional training. It's the universe asking if you can stay steady while the winds shift. Because the timeline you're stepping into will also bring unknowns. Your ability to remain coherent now prepares you to thrive later. And here's the key. Neutrality accelerates the process. When joy comes, welcome it without clinging. When doubt comes, breathe without resisting. Imagine being the eye of the storm, still, centered, watching the weather pass. That is mastery, that is stability. If you're experiencing intense feelings right now, it's not a setback. It's a sign you're close. Because the stronger the flicker, the closer you are to the collapse. The collapse into a single chosen timeline. So don't resist the waves. Ride them. Let them move through you. Because soon they will resolve, and you will land fully in the new reality you've been calling in. There is always a final threshold, a last appearance of old patterns, a resurfacing of old fears, a familiar challenge you thought you had outgrown. This is not punishment, it's calibration. Think of it like a simulation. Pilots train with turbulence so they can fly through it in real life. Life is giving you the same opportunity. Old scenarios show up not to trap you, but to give you a chance to respond as the new you. Every time you choose differently, every time you respond from alignment instead of fear, you collapse the old version and strengthen the new one. This is the final crossing, the doorway moment. And here's the truth. The jump rarely arrives with drama, no fireworks, no parade. Sometimes you just wake up and realize the fear is gone. The trigger no longer hooks you. The problem you obsessed over doesn't matter anymore. It feels quiet. It feels natural. And because it feels natural, your mind may even downplay it. But that quiet is the proof. In the quantum, the shift is instant. One moment here, the next moment there. Integration makes it feel ordinary, but it's not ordinary, it's extraordinary. From this place, you stop asking if it worked. You start living as if it has. You make choices from the new identity. You respond from the new frequency. And the more you do, the more the field mirrors it back with opportunities, synchronicities, and clarity. The shift becomes who you are, and that's when life begins to flow. That's when alignment feels effortless, not because you forced it, but because you became it. So if you've been waiting for a big sign, notice the small ones, the lighter mornings, the conversations that feel easier, the sudden calm where there used to be stress. These are not small, these are arrival. And if you're hearing this message now, it's not an accident. You're already resonating with the timeline you've been asking for. The leap has already begun. Now your work is simple. Hold it, live it, expand it. Don't slip back into the old habits just because things feel calm. Don't test the universe to see if it's still working. Trust that it is, because it is. This is your moment. This is your quantum jump, and it's closer than you think.